Today's presentation is on living at the intersection of social mobile, or as some people have called this, the 8 big ideas that are going to make you a millionaire in the next 24 months. As a brief introduction, my name is Jay Shapiro. I am the tribal head of the humans at Infinite Monkeys. We have a web-based self-service platform that basically lets any ordinary human create an extraordinary mobile app for the iPhone, Android, or HTML5 platforms. No coding required. It's all drag and drop, easy to do. That's what I do. I'm going to share with you today some of the learnings that I've had. If you have any questions about this presentation or after I'm done, feel free to email me. My address is j@infinitemonkeys.mobi. Or if you prefer, you can follow me on Twitter. I've got a couple of Twitter accounts. It's at @J_Shapiro or at EcoRoamers, my personal one. Or, of course, if you prefer, there's my blog. You can go to www.jshapiro.info. There's lots of good information on there. I put all my feeds on there. Or my favorite today is G+. You can plus J Shapiro. That's me. That's where I put most of my content. But well, I recognize some of you aren't actually on G+ yet, so then for those of you on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Mr. J Shapiro. Some other guy got J Shapiro, but that's fine. But then again, if you prefer on LinkedIn, more professional, you can go to linkedin.com/in/J Shapiro, or on Foursquare, if any of you actually still use Foursquare. I am Jay in Jersey City. Or lastly, if you're on Yelp, I put all my stuff on Yelp as jshapiro.yelp.com, or there's probably about 10 other social networks that I could list here where you can find me. Well, it's all kind of ridiculous and raises the question of what the hell are we doing? Why do we have so many personas, and how did we get here? However, I've done enough of these presentations and been at conferences to know that you probably don't actually care how did we get here. You're really more focused on the question of where are we going, right? What are the trends of the next 24 months that are going to make a difference, and how can you take advantage of them? Now, before we get to that, what I'm going to ask is, if you allow me just a brief minute, I'm going to give you a very brief history of social mobile media and how we got there. Now, it all began a long time ago. First there was darkness, and then there was light, and the earth cooled, and the dinosaurs came, and you know all that part already, right? Then, also a long time ago, a guy, Moses, in bed sheets, went up to the top of a mountain, and he basically invented the tablet, right? A long time ago, communicated with about 2.5 million people, actually, who are around that mountain, so a fairly good social reach of his messaging. However, pretty high barrier to mobility because you actually had to be standing there at the mountain. He actually created what became the Twitter account @Sinai. It's probably one of the longest held Twitter accounts. It remains still active there today if you check it out. But about 5,000 years later, Gutenberg came along and created the press, the printing press, on an automated basis, the ability to create multiple copies automatically of books. In the past, you had to go to the towns to find the books and read the books. Now the books came to the people. He invented in about 1480. By 1500, had printed 20 million copies. So really just amazing social reach compared to had anything had been done before. But as you can see, those printing presses were pretty huge, so still not particularly mobile. If we move well on to the 1960s, we had some guys in some really ugly suits at IBM invented the System 360. These guys were not particularly social at all, unfortunately. However, all the content then became digital, and that was a huge move forward. However, those computers were the size of a room, so again, not really particularly mobile. Now, you got to fast forward from there to 1982. When 17 million 13-year-olds went out and bought Commodore 64s or got them for Christmas. By the way, interesting point, until today, the Commodore 64, #1 best-selling computer of all time, 17 million copies. And quite mobile, actually. You could put it in the backpack and take it over to your friend's house, so go play games over there. So we're starting to get somewhat mobile. But along with the Commodore 64 came the invention of the bulletin board systems, BBSs. And all these 13-year-olds now, and I was one of them, could create a Fido BBS, and you could start talking with your friends online and really get some great social reach. Unfortunately, as social as you can be at 13. Now, it kind of went downhill from there. 1989, Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, and now all of a sudden you could access your content from anywhere in the world and share with anybody in the world. Unfortunately, you usually did it in your underwear in your bedroom. So from a social perspective, we took a huge dive there, and it was really just the real geeks involved in those days. But thank God, a few years later, 2004, Facebook came along, and all of a sudden, teenage girls got on the internet, and now there's over 800 million socialites on Facebook. But still not particularly mobile because you had to do it basically in your bedroom at your PC, right? You couldn't take it out. Until 2 years later, Twitter came along, and now anybody could send out their tweets to say, hey, I'm waiting for the subway, right? And you could do it anywhere you wanted. Huge reduction in the barriers to mobility. Travel wherever you like. Today, there's about 1.6 billion tweets a day, right? Massive social reach. What's interesting is it's getting faster and faster because within a couple of years of that, we had Groupon came along, right? Wall Street Journal predicted a $25 billion IPO for Groupon, right? Next big hot thing. And actually, the IPO is literally today as I'm recording this, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But what's interesting is within 6 months of that launch, there are now 10,000 tweets a day on Twitter with the hashtags Groupon and fail. Right? So it took very little time for Groupon to launch, peak, and then come down through the bottom, right? And as I say, it'll be interesting to see what happens today. So this is really where we're getting in the future now as we're accelerating this intersection between the mobility and the massive social reach. And what we're seeing as a whole is that the cycles of iteration are really accelerating, right? Getting faster and faster as those timelines get shorter from 5,000 years to a decade to a couple of years to within 6 months, right? And if that's the case, then the question is, that super fantastic, amazing, going to change the world idea that you've probably thought of has already been thought of by somebody else who's working on it in their garage. And if you're going to succeed and you're going to get those millions involved in your business, then the question is, can you be faster, friendlier, better, and cheaper than that guy? And can you capture those customers and get to critical mass? And if you're going to do that, I suggest that you consider using some platforms like Anska with their Corona platform, or Accelerator with their Titanium platform, or Sencha. These are platforms that allow you to develop across multiple operating systems like iOS and Android and HTML5 simultaneously, so you can do rapid prototyping using standard language tools like JavaScript, right? At the same time, you want to consider putting layers on top of your apps, like Socialize or Xtify, who have these social tools, or Simple Geo that can do the GPS location specific services. So you don't have to spend the 6 months trying to develop those yourself, but rather you can use the existing tools that they have. And if that's the case, then the question is, going forward, what are those sure win, social, local, mobile, solo mo, big ideas that are going to lead to your becoming a millionaire and entrepreneur in the next 24 months? What's going to win for you? Now, to answer that question, what I could do is pretty much what every other lecturer at every other conference in the last 12, 24 months has done. I could put up this slide and talk about the really cool idea of, imagine if you're walking past Starbucks and your phone buzz and when, oh, look, I can get a free latte from Starbucks, right? You've probably seen this slide 1,000 times, right? I'm bored of this slide. It's a stupid idea. Starbucks will never done it, haven't done it, right? And this is stale. I'm not going to give you this kind of stuff. I'm going to give you real great ideas that will help you change your business. What I'm going to do is give you Screech's top 8 big ideas. Now that's Screech there. He's actually the chief executive officer of Infinite Monkeys. He's a crazy monkey. He's a great guy. And these are his ideas, and these are things that are going to help you be successful. So number 1. There's been a lot of debate at a lot of conferences. I've seen so many decks about it, about whether you should do a native app or HTML5. And there's all kinds of talk about this. I'm going to answer that question for you today once and for all, put an end to the debate. The answer is HTML5, right? All the cool kids are wearing it. You should still do native apps, but you should at least do HTML5, at least on top of it, and there's some really good reasons why. HTML5 is going to just go through the roof over the next 24 months, and let me tell you why. First of all, Google has launched the HTML5 Chrome app market, right? Where they're actually selling HTML5 apps in double quotes, right? They're calling this not mobile web pages or even HTML5 web pages, but they are apps with all the functionality of apps produced through HTML5. And I think more and more we're going to become used to this. Cloud computing is going to become more commonplace and become just a core part of all of our lives. You look at the Chromebook that's coming out, which has basically no operating system. It's just using these HTML5 apps. This is going to become commonplace. The second reason is Amazon launched their Fire tablet, the new Kindle. They're selling these at $199. They're going to be in everybody's hands at Christmas this year and beyond that. And they have just announced that they are changing the ebook publishing format for Kindles to using HTML5 so that you can start embedding rich media content like videos and audio clips directly into books. So when you're out there and you're reading that Steve Jobs biography and you read the quote that says, Steve said this, you can actually click and listen to Steve actually saying it on the Steve tapes, right? This is going to change the way that we think about the book as a concept. It's already moved to digital, and they already sell more Kindle books than they do physical books. But now that you can start making them immersive experiences with all kinds of content in there, this is going to become amazing. And what it means is that more and more publishers are going to be doing it. Therefore, there's going to be more and more HTML5 coders and coding tools. The cost of producing HTML5 is going to come down. The capabilities are going to go up. This is going to help really break through the barrier of HTML5. And the last point is Android and Apple have been having this big battle for the last couple of years, and everybody talks about how many apps are in each one of their markets and which one is dominating. And they're just having this pissing match, and it's bad for you as a developer and entrepreneur, and really you're suffering because of it. Imagine today to get an app into the Apple market, to get approved as one of their developers and then get the app published, takes 7 weeks today. That's ridiculous. That's a huge length of time that just to get it in. And then, because of the curation process, Apple can say no. And they don't have to tell you why. They just can change their mind. So that project you've been working on with your development team and your designers, and you got your VCs funding it, and you spend 6 months coming up with the concept and building the app, and then you send it to Apple and you say, great, I'm ready to put it in the store. And they say, no, sorry. And you're like, but I paid for it and I'm ready to put it in. They're like, yeah, it's our store. Sorry, no. And there's nothing you can do about it. I had 500 apps in the Google App Store, in the app market, and they pulled them out. Do you know why? No? Neither do I. No idea at all. They won't tell me. For security reasons, they're like, sorry, we can't release that information. But our decision is final. Sorry, those apps can't be in the market. Well, now you have to go back and tell your VCs, yeah, remember all that money you invested and all those months of development and remember the focus groups we did and all the marketing and all that? Yeah, sorry, it's not in the market anymore. That's why all those other marketplaces are coming up, places like GetJar and Amazon and SlideMe, they're all out there. And that's helpful. But with HTML5, you control the publishing. Now you can do it yourself, and you give out your QR codes and you do your search engine optimization, and it's up to you. And if somebody wants to sue you for copyright violation, then that's your problem, right? But you don't have the barrier of going through a single store. Imagine if you developed a product and you had a factory and you do your R&D and you create it, and then Walmart is the only store that you sell through. You'd never do it. It's ridiculous, right? There has to be multiple channels, and that's why I like HTML5, at least as a value on top of the native apps if you're going to do native. Now, the fact is, if you're going to do a really rich game or you're using the devices on the phone, then there are limitations, and HTML5 is not necessarily going to be great for you. But if you're doing a content-based app with some interaction or social network, then HTML5 is great. And there's all kinds of APIs through people like Sencha and Appcelerator that let you use the camera and the GPS and all the other functions. And the best part of HTML5 is that it really has the dream of write it once, run it everywhere. So you write a single set of code, and then you deploy it across all the different devices. So that's my number one tip, HTML5, get on it. Number two, Square and NFC. Square is great. It's these little things that you plug into your phone. You can get them for free. They've given out 500,000 of them already. Square predicts that they're going to do $1 billion in revenue transactions this year, letting anybody take credit card payments through their mobile phone, really going after the bottom end of the pyramid, right? They charge 2.75% transaction fees at the moment, regardless of the card that a consumer uses. So, you know, all those restaurants who say they won't take American Express because Amex charges 4%, well, that's not the case with Square. I don't know how they've done it, but they charge 2.75% regardless of the card that anybody uses. Now they have their APIs. The 0.9 version of their API has been released that allow you to integrate the Square technology into your apps. So now your apps that you create can take payments or can give payments through refunds, right? Through payment donations. So there's all kinds of cool things you could do with Square by integrating into your apps if you think about it. The second thing is NFC, or near field communications. That's where you can take your phone and tap it to make payments, to send data and contacts to people, download apps, all kinds of stuff. It's, you know, you've probably seen it in the buses or a subway where you just tap your fare card to get payment. Now, a lot of people say NFC, it's a great concept, but it's only actually valid on about, 3 phones out there in the market today. Now, that's going to increase. But in the meantime, there's these things like the Twin Links MyMax thing there, which is a little sticker. It's literally a sticker. You stick it on the back of any phone. It has a little battery built inside it, and it connects via Bluetooth to the phone. They're cheap, they're easy, and now any Bluetooth phone, which is just about every smartphone out there today, can do NFC. The agency called Isobar ran a 48-hour hackathon last month that had developers to create apps for NFC, to come up with new innovations. Within 48 hours, they released 9 fully developed functioning prototypes of NFC apps, and really cool stuff where you could pay for bars, you could send contacts to each other, transit solutions, parking solutions, all kinds of really cool stuff. There is tons of things you could do with NFC. It's already deployed through Google Wallet out there in New York and San Francisco with lots and lots of people involved on it. Get one of these, try them out, and see for yourself how you could integrate into your apps. There's lots of really cool ideas. My number 3 recommendation is this, and I'm going to just pause for a second and go across to this video file for you to take a look at that.
Hello. Could you please take your shoes off, sir?
Yes, I will take my shoes off in a minute, but first I need to tell these people about the third big trend in social and mobile.
You cannot use your mobile in here.
No. I want to tell them that the next big trend in mobile is video.
I like to watch videos.
I don't think we're talking about the same kind of videos, though I admit there's a lot of money in those too.
If you have money in them, you should keep it in your pockets as you go through the scanner.
I don't think you're getting me. I am talking about the money that all of these people can make by concentrating on mobile video in the next 24 months. Mobile viewing rates are exploding.
I don't think you should say exploding in here. Besides, I don't know what you are going on about. YouTube has been around for 6 years already. It's hardly a new trend.
Yes. But what is new is...
Even my mother watches it. She loves that one with the double rainbow guy. That one always cracks me up.
I don't think you understand. I'm not talking about just watching videos. That's old hat already, you're right.
Are you calling my mother old?
No. It is just that I am trying to tell these people about the trend in face-to-face mobile video conferencing and messaging.
If they are so great, then why are you still flying economy to go to a mobile apps conference?
That's a good point. I guess you should ask Vic and Zerk.
I love the Zach. Last night I watched a video where AG and Sean Parker go out to a club, But in this version, the Zack actually gets the girl.
Aha. Again, I am not talking about those kinds of videos. I am talking about the social interactions that are now possible through mobile apps with the ubiquity of 3G and 4G in the market. Now that Vic Gundotra has released the ability for people to have Google Plus Hangouts from their Android devices, people are going to start to form the habit finally of mobile video social interactions.
Did you know that Vic Gundotra married my wife's cousin? We are practically related.
That's very nice. It will only be a matter of time until Facebook brings their Skype integration to the mobile app, and Google Plus finally open up their API.
Oh. Okay. But who actually uses the Facebook mobile application? Other than for just checking in and saying I am at the airport.
350 million people a month apparently. Besides, nobody actually checks in on Facebook. They are still over on Foursquare, even though Google Plus will let them do it automatically.
That is just narcissistic, battery draining, wanking if you ask me.
I didn't.
Are you going to take your shoes off? Or am I going to have to strip search you? Now that would make a good video.
So there's your third big trend, mobile video. Just a little experience that I had on my way to the conference today, coming through the airport. And interestingly, video is becoming just huge. 12% of all online videos consumed in the last 12 months were done on a mobile device. PhotoBucket did a little study of over 1 million of their customers, and 46% of them said that they produce videos on their mobile phone at least once a week. Now, just recently, Adobe finally released a version of their Flash server that works on the iPhone, that bypasses the blockage that had been there before, and so now Flash videos will work on the iPhone. And people who consume video on tablets spend on average 40% longer doing so than those who do it online. So really, video is just becoming a huge part of the mobile experience, and you need to think beyond just people watching videos, but how can they use videos for mobile communication? As mentioned in the video there, Vic Gundotra at Google Plus just released that you can do Google Plus Hangouts now on your Android devices. So that means people will start doing video conferencing and group video conferencing through their mobile devices. And of course, the integration with Facebook and Skype is bound to come to their mobile app. And this means that people are going to start getting used to the fact of doing mobile communication, video communications through their mobile, especially with all the forward-facing cameras that exist now. So what's interesting is if you think about apps like SMS text messaging, and apply a video to it, where you have video chats, where you can do push-to-talk, 5-10 second long little video messages going back and forth. This is going to be a hugely powerful technology, and whoever can master it is going to succeed very, very well. I hope it's one of you. So let's move on to trend number 4, which is auto check-ins. Now, probably you have tried Foursquare and the various other check-in tools that are out there between Facebook Places and Yelp and Google Latitude and all that. So they're out there, but they're not particularly powerful. It doesn't do much to just sort of say, hey, I'm here. You know, it doesn't really help. But take that a step further to things like auto check-ins, as you're seeing happen through applications like Google Latitude, Recall that I've got up there, where you can have your phone, and unfortunately this drains your battery, so you need much better batteries, but that's developing every year, where you can have your phone automatically detect where you are, and then based on, you know, circle of friends like you do in Google Plus, to be able to say, here are my 5 friends that I want to have coffee with at any given point, and if we're ever in the same mall as each other or within half a mile of each other, then notify both of us to say, hey, let's get together. Right? There's all kinds of possibilities you can do once you start doing auto check-ins to make them useful. Recall, for example, is a to-do application, and you can set reminders for yourself that are geo-specific. So you can say, when I'm at the office tomorrow, remind me to call so-and-so. And then when you walk into the office, your phone detects that, and automatically it gives you a push notification say, hey, remember this person. So rather than just being time-based, you can do time and place-based reminders. All kinds of possibilities in there, and I guarantee there's a way to involve auto check-ins in something you're already working on. So that's my fourth big trend. Number 5, this one's really cool, NFC showrooms. Apple earns over $5,000 per square foot of retail space that they're out there today. That's more than any other USA retailer. Now, is that because Apple's products are so much better than any other product out there? No, not particularly. I mean, they're great products, and their stores are beautiful, and the experiences are wonderful, and that's why people go there. It's because of the experiences, not because of the locations or the products. People love it because of the experience and the design, right? They're a great retailer. People talk about Apple as being a technology company or a design company. The fact is today, Apple is the best retailer in America on a per square foot basis, right? But what's interesting is the experience and the customer service is not actually the most expensive part of doing retailing, right? That most expensive part is the distribution channel that has to exist behind the store, keeping the shelves stocked, right? And the cost of that inventory and financing that inventory. Imagine if you took that component away, right? If you combined something like the Amazon app, which if you haven't used it, you must get it. It's amazing. The Amazon app with one-click purchase, and they have it combined now with the camera, so you can take a picture of a product, any product out there. They send it. They recognize what it is. With one click, you can say, buy it. Then with Amazon Prime, within 24 hours, it's usually at your door, 48 hours at the most, right, on a flat rate basis for shipping. Very, very powerful stuff. But what if you took it beyond the phone, you combined it with something like that NFC sticker I showed you before, where you put that on products in a store that just has one of everything, doesn't maintain the whole warehouse of products, right? So then you have somebody who can go in as a customer, have a really immersive, wonderful, well-designed retail environment. They can try things on, they pick what they want, but they know that the shoes that they want are always in stock in the size they want because they're not maintained just in that little store in the mall. They're fulfilled through Amazon. So you take your phone, you walk around the store, you go, oh, I like that dress, click. I like those shoes, click, right? I want that box, click. And then with one click, it goes off your Amazon account. The store becomes an affiliate and makes a commission off of Amazon for the sale, and Amazon fulfills the products back to you. You go home 24 hours later, it's at your door. This could change the face of retail as we know it, right? This could change where people can actually finally afford to invest in the experience and the customer service and the design, which in the past you wouldn't necessarily have the margin to do it because your margins are being taken up by the cost of the inventory and all the fulfillment that goes behind it. Very cool stuff. So that's my fifth concept for you, the idea of combining the online shopping, the NFC, and retail experience to make NFC showrooms. Number 6, they had to be in there somewhere, Facebook. Facebook has just released their mobile apps platform where you as a developer can create social apps that are tied in with the social graph and release them via the Facebook app within that, where people can click through and see your app within that app. Now, I don't personally like this concept, right? Number one, I don't think people are going to want to access their apps via the Facebook app. I think the mode has already been set where people are used to accessing their apps from their home screen, sharing apps and that sort of thing. I don't think this is necessarily a great way to do it. The second reason I think is because it's ugly, right? These apps are not pretty. They haven't really spent a lot of time building out the app development infrastructure and environment. And so what you wind up with is really sort of just Facebook, but with some additional functionalities. It's not great. However, the fact is over 350 million people use Facebook from a mobile device every month. It's not called the Facebook anymore, sorry. Use Facebook from a mobile device every month. So the fact is, no matter how bad it is, they are going to succeed, right? And if you are a Facebook app developer today or involved in the Facebook ecosystem and you want to get into mobile, maybe this is a good way for you to do that. The fact is the numbers are there. People are going to come to it. You can't help but get volume. I won't be doing it. I don't personally like it. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you have a business that's based around Facebook today, the mobile apps platform is going to be important for you, and therefore it's my number 6 trend. Number 7, be beneficial. Okay, so be honest here. Have you used Foursquare? Have you checked in on Foursquare? Almost guaranteed you have. Do you still do it on a regular basis? Probably not. And whenever I give this talk in conferences, it's like 80 to 1. Everybody's tried Foursquare. Very few people actually still use it on a regular basis, even with the incentives of the badges and the social elements that are built into it, right? Same with Amen. GetAmen.com, one of the big darlings of the TechCrunch Disrupt conference, getting lots of traction. It's great fun. I actually really like Amen, but I wouldn't do it on a regular basis. It's fun for about a day, right? Or, and this is the last, be honest here, have you tried Talking Tomcat? I bet you have. It's one of the top selling apps of all time. So, the fact is, people are out there using it. But again, for a day, it's not much fun beyond that because they don't provide any real benefit. They're not sticky. Compare that with, for example, Korra. Now, I don't know about you, but I am addicted to Korra. I love Korra. The fact is, just about every free minute I have that I'm not doing something of value in my life, I'm on Korra. It's great, and there's all kinds of information on there, and I like contributing to Korra. It's fantastic. Or Kayak. There's very few people today who are business travelers who still will book a flight without going to Kayak because the fact is it just works. It's a great environment. It provides value. If you want to book flights, it's easy. It does it and it works. Or Yelp, right? And I live in New York, and the rule in New York is you don't go to any restaurant without checking Yelp. If there's less than 100 reviews for that restaurant on Yelp, you know something's wrong. My phone was out of batteries last week, and I was standing in front of a restaurant. I'm like, I don't know. Should we go in? Because it could be really bad. I have no idea. Yelp has just become part of life. It's become dependent because it's of benefit, right? There's a value there. And what's interesting is Flurry just released the results from their, I don't know, they've got something like 1 million apps in Flurry today of the retention rates that they're seeing and how that just drops off across all apps on a month-by-month basis. And if you want to beat this, you need to make your apps sticky. And the way to do that is not just to make them cool or nice, but to make them be of benefit and useful to your customers. So that's my 7th trend, be beneficial. Number 8 is be tenacious, right? Have you ever heard of this game, Angry Birds? I bet you have. 500 million downloads they just announced this week. 500 million downloads, right? And everybody talks about how Angry Birds is this amazing overnight success. And in the mobile app industry, I wish I could be like Angry Birds, right? Everybody's gunning to be like Angry Birds. But did you know that Rovio, the company that created Angry Birds, was actually founded in 2003? That they had released 50 failed games before Angry Birds came out? That they were literally on the verge of bankruptcy and had already laid off 75% of their staff when Angry Birds came out. And what's interesting is, when it came out, 3 months after the launch, they were still 600th in the App Store in terms of popularity. But then, somebody at Apple decided to make Angry Birds one of the featured apps of the day on the App Store, and within 3 days, they became number 1, right? To the point where they raised, now they've done over 500 million downloads, and they raised $42 million in VC funds. A wonderful success story, but hardly overnight, right? So be tenacious. Fight for it. Never, ever, ever, ever give up, right? Know that you're right. Be willing to pivot if you need to and change your business model if you have to, but still stick with it and make it work and find a way, because it can work. So, in summary, if you remember just one thing from your conference today or from watching this video, let it be this list of 9 important directions. Sorry, I'm cheating a little there, right? So in your number 1, master or deploy in HTML5, or at least become best friends with somebody who can. Number 2, sign up for Square. Go do it. It's free. You can get one of the readers for free. They've done 500,000 of them already. Play around with NFC and then go and create some brilliant solutions using those. Number 3, empower people to create and share and communicate with mobile video via your project. Think of ways to integrate it and to make it work for you. It will make it a richer experience and people will want to participate. Number 4, go home tonight and think of creative ways that you can integrate auto check-ins into whatever project you're working on or thinking about already. There's a way to probably do it, and it will make your product more powerful. It is going to be a huge trend in terms of adding that, when I talked about that benefit to your app, right? Making it useful. Now, the fact is, there is still limitations in terms of battery power today, but they are getting better and better, and this is going to be a huge trend over the next 24 months. Number 5, this one's for me. If you have any rich friends out there who are in the retail space, tell them to give me a call, right, and invest in my NFC showroom idea. I was just showing that to you guys. You're not actually going to go do that one, right? Please don't, make that yourself. That's my idea. I'm going to be doing that one. It's going to make me a billionaire. So if you have any rich friends, just tell them to give me a call, all right? Number 6, if you love Facebook, get off your ass, call your best friend, go start a Facebook mobile apps platform company. I'm not going to do it, but if you're involved in Facebook, you think it's wonderful, then go do it. Number 7, be beneficial. Think about how you can add value via your app. Number 8, be tenacious. Don't ever give up. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space, right? Think about it. Think about how you can win. And number 9, call your Uncle Jimmy. Tell him to visit www.monk.ee, and go and make your own mobile app for free with drag and drop, no coding, through Infinite Monkeys. That's my company. I hope that this has been of value to you today. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Follow me on Google+. Send me a message. I will happily respond. And thank you for your time.